Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it today. I wanted to talk to you about Nexus letters and how important they are, when you need them, when you don't, and just kind of give a high-level overview of what it's all about with some little information that I pulled up here to give you some tips and tricks on making that happen. So, number one, what is a Nexus letter? What's it for? Why do you need one, right? So when you think about the components that are used to establish a positive service connection with the VA, the way I break it down is like this. Look, you have to have time and service. That gives you a window of opportunity, right? Entry date, exit date. 2, you need a diagnosed condition that is either has some sort of residual effects or is chronic in nature, right? It has to have an ongoing problem. It can't be, I hurt myself, it's all better, I have no issues. There has to be some sort of an ongoing problem from that diagnosed condition. Then number 3 is a nexus. Now, what the VA is asking here is show me, prove to me, the VA, right? Prove to me that diagnosed condition that you have that is chronic in nature or has residual effects, prove to me that condition is because of your time in service. Now, the because of time in service, it's not necessarily that the military caused the condition. It's more that the condition manifested during your time in service is really what they're looking for. So show me that diagnosed condition either manifested during your time in service or that it is a result of your time in service, right? So something happened here that later caused this issue outside of service, or no, this issue started here. So that's what they're talking about. That's nexus, the link between that time in service and your diagnosed condition, linking those two pieces together. So how do you do it? Well, the easiest way to establish a nexus for the VA, for the purposes of service-connected conditions, right, is to be diagnosed for that condition that you're filing for while you're in service. That automatically establishes the nexus, simply based on dates. So, I joined the military. 2 years in, I get diagnosed for migraine headaches. Clearly, it's in my time frame that I've served, and it's there, plain as day. Diagnosed date is 2 years in, right smack in the middle of my first enlistment of 4 years in the Marine Corps. Bam! Now that's not me. I wish I would have done it that way, but whatever, such is life. So that would be the ideal way to establish a nexus. Now, would you need a nexus letter for that condition that you're filing for? No, because the nexus is already established, right? For the VA purposes, they just want to know, hey, prove to me that your condition started or is a result of your time in service. Here is a diagnosis with a date on it that says I was diagnosed for migraines while I was in service. There's my nexus, right? That takes care of it. You don't need to now you can if you want, but you don't need to. So where does a nexus letter come into play? Well, for a lot of us, it's the same story. Hey, I started having this issue when I was in. I was just not encouraged. I was discouraged to go to the medical facilities, the battalion aid station, any of that stuff. So I never went. I just self-medicated, got hands full of Motrins, the 800 Motrin, and some aspirin, and I just kicked those back every other day. I made it through, drank more water, right? So many of us have that type of a story, regardless of what the condition is, right? Whether it's your sprained ankle, your sprained knee, your jacked up back, your migraines, your GERD, your sleep apnea, getting boots thrown at you when you're sleeping at night and nobody wants you to sleep in their whatever the quarters are, right? So whether it's in your you don't want to share shelter, your shelter with them. So with that, you get out and now you have no documentation that links that condition to your time in service. So that's when you need to lean forward and get that Nexus letter from a civilian doctor or medical, any provider. It really doesn't matter. Most likely it'll be a civilian provider that will do it for you. I did pull up some stuff here as far as some of the elements of a good letter, and I wanted to read this to you here real quick. It says here, and I'll give you my 2 cents after I read it. So, a strong Nexus letter is compelling, well-researched, and credible. Letters should be written on a doctor's letterhead and signed by the doctor to boost credibility. To increase your chances of a successful claim, letters should include the following: a statement confirming the author has carefully reviewed the veteran's medical history, such as the patient's VA medical records, military service treatment records, and DD-214 forms. Supporting evidence, such as private medical records and a statement from the veteran or a buddy letter from someone else providing additional information about the veteran's disability. References to relevant medical research such as scientific studies and medical journal articles that support the author's key points. A strong conclusion that definitively states at least that the disability is at least as likely as not due to the veteran's military service. So that's the key components that you want in that letter. Now, I will tell you that the at least likely as not, which you may have heard, is the VA's threshold. Okay, the VA clearly states, and the law clearly states, that if the evidence is in equipoise, meaning that it's equal on both sides, for and against you, that the VA is to rule in your favor. Now, most doctors won't have an issue doing at least likely as not, in their opinion, right? So I usually ask for, it's more than likely to have been as a result of their service or manifested during their service, and, blah, 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 and these are all the reasons why. Just because I feel better doing it that way. If I got pushback from a doctor to put that statement, the more than likely, then I would backpedal to the at least likely as not. Now, the studies, you can Google search. We did this for a veteran who had lung cancer, and we had to look at his ship records, what ships he was on, and we found high asbestos reports on one of the ships that he was on. And it got worked on in a shipyard that had a bunch of asbestos as well. So we utilized those to share with the doctor who wrote the Nexus letter that said that he was on the ship and is more than likely due to that and all that good stuff. So you can pull up and Google search. You can use your MOS as kind of a leverage point to be able to help your doctor formulate a really strong letter on your behalf. So with that, I'll go ahead and put some of this information in the comments below. Just wanted to shed a little light on Nexus letters and Nexus and what the difference is between those two things. Nexus is the proof that it manifested or is a result of your service. A Nexus letter helps to establish that Nexus. Not always needed, but often it is. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.